Yo, it's your boy Six and welcome back to another card magic tutorial. Before we get started with today's effect, I need your help. I recently submitted a proposal to South by Southwest EDU, and if you don't know what that is, South by Southwest is a major conference that meets every year in Texas. It's at the forefront of technology, education, music, arts, film, many other disciplines, and my proposal is going to be bridging the world of magic with the world of education, two things that I'm obviously very passionate about. So I want to share how thinking like a magician has helped me become a better teacher and share that with other educators. I think it's very important, not just for the world of magic, but also for the world of education. But I need your help to make that happen. So I need to get some public votes. There's a link down below. If you click that link, you register for an account, you can just hit the up arrow and that cast a vote that you would like to see me at that conference. It'll mean a lot to me, and I think it'll be really important for the world of magic and education as well. So let's go ahead and get started with today's effect. All right, today's effect comes from the brilliant mind of Nick Trost, and I've just been going through a lot of my old magic theory books, and I happened to come across one of Nick Trost's card effect books, and I was like, well, let me look through it. I had a lot of notes in there, and I had this effect highlighted, and I was like, oh, this is such a good effect. I wanted to share it with you. It comes from Subtle Card Creations, Volume 1. The title of the effect is Incredible, and it is incredible. I think you're gonna love it. So enough about this. Let's go directly into the performance of this effect. All right, so for this effect, there are two piles of cards, one red, one blue. The spectator is gonna get the blue, and they're gonna shuffle these cards up just like that. I'll take the red, same idea. I'm gonna shuffle these cards up, just give them a little mix. It doesn't really matter too much, because here's what's gonna happen. The spectator is going to take their pile, and they're going to cut randomly anywhere they like. And they're gonna take the card they cut to, and they're gonna go ahead and place it on top of my pile, and they get to hold on to those cards. And I'll lose this card somewhere in the pile. I'll give it a few cuts just to move it around somewhere. You get the idea. Now I'm gonna also do a cut myself to cut to a random card, and this would be the card that I give the spectator. So they're gonna do the same thing, where they're gonna cut their card into the pile. So just for clarity here, we both shuffled, we both cut randomly to a card, switch cards, right? So now, in their pile, they have one red card, and in my pile, I have one blue card. What would seem very random, you end up with the three of hearts. That's the one that I picked out. But you see, you picked out a card also, and you could have picked from any of those, but you chose this one right here. And that card happens to be a perfect match. Also, the three of hearts. And I know what you're thinking. I was thinking it too, that, you know, if this is a three of hearts and that's a three of hearts, they're probably all the same card, and you're right. They're all the same card, except these are all blank and these are all blank. You could not pick any other card except those three of hearts. It was meant to be, and that, my friends, is an incredible card trick. All right, let's learn how to do this incredible card trick by Nick Trost. And just so you know, this is obviously, there's some things you need for this. I'm actually going to be teaching you my next video a simplified version of this with far fewer cards, but I still think this is powerful, and I wanted to make sure you learn it. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to use two cards, three of hearts, or whatever card you want. They're going to be matching cards of different colors. We'll talk about this actually in a second. Let's start with these cards because this is important. You're going to need blank face cards, 25 and 25. Now, I'll put some links down below if you want to buy some blank face cards so you can do this trick. The link down, you get them on Amazon. It'll be in a couple days. If for some reason you're like, man, I don't want to buy some blank cards, I've been there. I don't always want to buy cards. So the way I suggested then, instead of using the blank face cards, if you have a one-way deck where all the cards are the same, you can use that. And if you don't, my other suggestion is this, where you just simply take a playing card or deck of cards, grab half and half, some red, some blue, and then you're going to use a marker. And for those who've been following me for a long time, you remember this marker as the world's loudest marker. So that's making a comeback. So you're going to take this marker and you're going to just cross a big X through all of the cards that you're not going to have them select, right? So instead of using blank face cards, you get 26 from an old deck of blue cards, 26 from an old deck of red cards, and you just get a marker and you put big X's on the front of them. And that'll be your reveal, where I knew you wouldn't choose any of these other cards because these all had X's on them. Still amazing, still accomplishes the same effect. You don't have to buy blank face cards. So I just wanted to share that with you because I know sometimes it's hard to order these things. But if you want to do it that way, you can do it that way. For explanation, I'll use the blank face cards. So 25 blue back cards, 25 red back cards, blank decks. They're like $7, $8 on Amazon. I bought 2 of them, split them, and then now I got enough cards to do the trick. Let's talk about these cards, okay? So these cards are a little bit different as well. So the blue 3 of hearts, it doesn't matter which one you use, it's however you want to do it, but I use a blue 3 of hearts that is standard size. And then the red 3 of hearts is actually cut to be a little bit smaller, so it is a short card. And we've talked about that before, so you can see, it's a little hard to see, but it is a short card. It is cut slightly shorter than all the other cards. I'm gonna see if I can focus here. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. Slightly shorter than the other card. You just literally take an X-Acto knife and you just trim a little bit off. If you want to do a corner short, you can trim some of the corner. I've talked about this in previous videos. Whatever you want to do to make it a slightly shorter card is what you do. All right, with that information, you're now going to place the 3 of hearts, which is the short card, face down, followed by the regular 3 of hearts, which is blue backed. And then you're going to follow that with the rest of the red cards you have. So red blank face cards, normal blue back, 3 of hearts, matching card to that blue back card, but this one's cut shorter or marked in some way. Honestly, you don't have to do it. If you're comfortable holding a break, just hold a break, and finagle the cards, do it that way. I like it this way because it really just makes the trick a lot easier. So that's set up like this. The blue cards they get to use are all completely normal, so nothing gets changed with that. And that's your setup. You're ready to go. So you can literally have this in a card box, and it's always ready to go as a final performance piece in your close-up set if you're performing for a bunch of people. So now the spectators are going to shuffle their cards. Just make sure they don't look at the faces of the cards. And what you're going to do is have them cut anywhere they want. Once they cut the packet, they're going to lift off one card. I do it this way as opposed to having them pick a card and place it. I think the pattern that I'm using should match the pattern they're using. So I say cut anywhere, lift off the top card, and place it on top of my pile, which they do. They can bring those cards back together. And now I say I'm going to cut these cards. When I cut these cards, what's happening is I'm placing the short card on top of this random blank face blue card that they just handed me, because they're all blue back and blank face. So it's all going to be the same card every time. So this is going to be a blank face card. I'm going to place this short card on top of it with this blue card right underneath it. So here's what's going to happen. I do the cut, and because of the cut, it positions it on top, and now I'm good to go. I can throw in a few more cuts. I roughly know where the position of my card is. I try not to cut to it, so I cut a little bit further down, and I kind of shift it around. Now what's going to happen is when I go to do the effect, remember I have a short card, so I'm going to make sure that my short card is easily accessed, and I'm just going to simply cut to my short card. A lot of people do a big riffle here because you'll feel it, like you even hear it. You don't necessarily need to do that. I say that because really you can kind of see where the cut is, and then you can just really get a light feel for it, so it doesn't have to look like you're riffling so much. In the beginning, as you get used to it, you'll probably do the riffle a lot, but you know, at some point you kind of just get a feel for where to cut that card. So now I cut. I'm going to do the same thing where I place this on the table. Now here's what's happening. Because I position those cards on top, when I cut to my short card, so my short card is this one here, the 3 of hearts that was on top of it is now going to the bottom of the packet. So it's now underneath. We're going to talk about a couple things in a second here. Now to pick up this card, I don't just pick up the 1 because then they'll see the blue card. I'm actually picking up the 2 because this card underneath the short card is the blank face card that they handed me. Remember, we cut it and placed it on top. So I want to get rid of that card and put it back in their pile. I don't want it in my pile. It has to be in their pile. So in order to do that, if I just grab the cards from the edges here and pick up, because the top card is shorter, I'm going to pick up a double lift. I don't need a break. I don't need any special sleight of hand. I'm literally just picking up from the top. Because it's a short card, I pick up from the short card, and now I have 2 cards as one. It's essentially a double lift, but it's super easy because you have that short card. So I pick up this card and I place it on top of theirs. I'm loading that blank face card into the packet while also handing them a 3 of hearts that I want to have be the match. So you pick up the 2 cards, place it on their packet, and tell them, do me a favor, cut the cards. So they cut the cards just like that. Now remember, you have the 3 of hearts at the bottom here. So if I place this card on top, I can't spread because it'll be here. So what I want to do is to position that in the middle. So the best solution is to just simply pick up this packet from the table and place it back on top, and now you can spread and show there's one in the middle. Another way that I do sometimes is I'll just drop this on top and I'll say, remember, you went through and you shuffled the cards. You cut anywhere you wanted. We exchange cards, and then in the action of explaining what happened by cutting the cards, I reposition it in the middle. I like to go through the process one more time just to reiterate how fair this was. You shuffled, you picked any card, we exchanged cards. Couldn't be any more fair if I tried. And for the most part, the trick is done now. So now you can simply spread the cards, show there's one red card, the one that I gave you. I have one blue card, the one that you gave me. Let's take a look at how I did. I got a 3 of hearts. Let's see how you did. You also got a 3 of hearts, a perfect match. Reveal that, and then finally you take these cards, flip these face up, say all of these are blank, all of these are blank. There's no way you could have picked any other card. It's a perfect match. Wonderful effect. It is titled Incredible for a reason, because it is incredible. I promise you, perform this effect, people are gonna freak out. You know, you gotta buy a few things. I'll link down below to some short cards and some blank cards if you wanna buy the pieces if you're that type of person. Otherwise, you know what to do. X marks the spot, as I pointed out previously, and you can just trim a short card yourself. So you don't need to buy anything fancy. Wonderful effect, and be sure to look out for the next episode because I'll show you a simplified version of this with just a few cards that I think you'll like as well. There you have it, friends. I'll see you all in the next episode.